We were in for such a good year. Black Ops 6 looked so promising at release and even in Season 1. And there were flashes of a good Call of Duty game in later seasons as well. But what we're left with now is a shell of what we had, plagued by insane bundles, awful events, skill-based matchmaking, server issues, and just no developer comms at all. Black Ops 6 did do a lot of things right, don't get me wrong, but in this video, we're going to go through where it all went wrong for Black Ops 6 and how we can avoid this situation in the future. Let's do it. Before we get started, if you like what you see, hit that like button, and if you love Call of Duty, hit that subscribe button. Black Ops 6 cycle started off so hot. They were bringing features back that hadn't been in the game for a long time, like classic prestige. People were fired up for Omni movement. The weapons and gunplay all felt great. Everything was looking up. As soon as the game launched, they had their first problem. None of these maps were great by any means. Lowtown had too much water, Red Card had awful pacing, it seemed like Derelict was getting picked every map, which isn't a terrible map, but it's not great. Babylon was chaotic and the spawn trap on that map was terrible. There was really only one map at launch that played well no matter what, and that was Skyline. One decent map out of 16 is unacceptable. The playlist that everyone seemed to gravitate towards at the start was Face Off Mosh Pit, which was 6v6 on the super small strike maps. This was fun for like a hot second. This was like the definition of brain rot. Load in, tac sprint, get a kill, die, respawn, tac sprint, get a kill, die. I understand we're trying to keep people engaged at all times, but this was an awful cycle, and I fell into it. So whether or not this playlist was an actual negative for the game is to be determined. People seem to either love it or hate it. I will say one thing, it was great for grinding camos. So we had pretty bad launch maps, but we had new seasons coming with brand new maps and remade maps, so surely we were going to get some good maps, right? No chance. Season 1 brought Extraction, Hideout, and Hacienda. Extraction played pretty poorly, Hideout had some pretty bad spawn traps, but was fun to play, and Hacienda only really works in a competitive setting, so not a great start for DLC maps in Black Ops 6. Since then, things haven't gotten much better. Season 2 gave us Bounty, Dealership, and Grind. I mean, it was nice to play Grind again, but out of all the maps they could have chosen, why Grind? I think Black Ops 4 is due for some love in the remake department, ASAP. Season 3 brought Barrage, Nomad, Haven, and the fan favorite Firing Range. I'm always pumped to see Firing Range, and the other 3 maps were fun, but this game needed some competitive maps, and they just didn't deliver. Now, with Season 4 currently going on, we got Shutdown and Fugitive, which I honestly don't have enough time on to make a fair assessment, so if you've played those maps, let me know what you think down in the comments. And in Season 4 Reloaded, we're getting Fringe from Black Ops 3 back, which is awesome, but it's a little late for it, and I don't know how it's going to play without wall running, so we'll see. The moral of the story here is that Black Ops 6 did not deliver in the map department. Sure, we got a lot of maps added, but quantity isn't always better than quality, especially when it comes to Call of Duty maps. Call of Duty games are make or break on their maps in my opinion, and Black Ops 6 has failed big time. We've come a long way from the milsim shooter Call of Duty once was, but was it ever truly a milsim shooter? I don't think so. Call of Duty has always been an arcade shooter. You can literally run around with a sniper, quickscoping, getting 6 pieces and team wipes. That ain't a milsim. The gameplay has never been milsim. But where am I going with this? Yes, Call of Duty is an arcade shooter, but that doesn't mean it's a fantasy game. That's what it feels like with all of these bundles, and as a longtime fan of the series, the bundles have turned me off a little bit. At the beginning of every Call of Duty lifespan, the bundles start out a little more grounded, and you get the odd wacky one with like a shark head or a cell-shaded operator, but then as the seasons go on, they just say fuck it, let's throw whatever we can at the wall and hope people throw their money at us. And they do. We have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we've got Jay and Silent Bob, and countless, and I mean countless, marijuana-themed operators. We have a Seth Rogen bundle, for God's sakes. And this isn't even what grinds my gears. It's the Mastercraft bundles. Why the hell do people need to have these insane weapon inspecs on their guns? It doesn't make sense to me, man, like at all. We have the Club Thumper baseball bat, What am I even looking at? Do people actually sit in-game at the back of the map and look at this? I legit cannot understand why these are necessary. It's pointless in my mind, and I just can't wrap my head around why anyone would buy this. Another one is the Combo Bash blueprint, which has the inspect as an old arcade video game where you insert a coin and two bots punch each other. Like, it's just so stupid. One good example of a bundle is the Dress to Grill Reactive Tracer Pack bundle. This shit is hilarious. Maybe it's because I'm a dad now and this hits a little different, but this is a fun bundle and it's a little wacky, but not too crazy. Would I buy it? Hell no. I'm Canadian, our economy is breaking down, but this is a great example of a creative bundle in my opinion. I think a lot of people are starting to get sick of the bundles, especially when it's always working perfectly. And then when something is actually wrong with the gameplay, it's ignored and not fixed for weeks or sometimes months. But there's always one thing you can count on, and that's the Call of Duty store to be live. Which brings me to my next point. Developer communication this past year has been pretty terrible, and that's putting it lightly. We were coming off a year where Sledgehammer Games provided near perfect communication in Modern Warfare 3 and gave us a year full of awesome content. It's actually the first Call of Duty that I've played the entire year in a long time. The Treyarch we used to know is gone. Seriously, there's probably no one from that old team still there, and with that comes a new culture. And that culture is not big on communication or caring about their player base. I think longtime fans of the series care about this a lot more than the more casual player base. I want to know that the development team cares about who they're making the game for and that they listen to what the community wants. Infinity Ward is terrible for this. Treyarch is decent, Sledgehammer is the best right now, and it's rumored that Sledgehammer Games is the primary dev on multiplayer for Black Ops 7, so fingers crossed, next year is the year we go back to good comms from the dev team on issues that need to be addressed and the future of their game. One of the biggest things in my opinion that destroyed the Black Ops 6 momentum was the Warzone integration. What a disaster. Remember the Resurgence map centered around Nuketown? Yeah, me neither. That shit was taken out of the game faster than they fixed the Call of Duty shop. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but the map didn't hit like some were expecting it to. Myself, I was plagued with frame drops and constant server latency that made it basically unplayable, so I just stopped playing it. There's just too much inside of Warzone that they try to add every year, and the players are left with a poor user experience because of it. Warzone finally gets to a good place at the end of the previous title, and then bang! Back to the shit show integration of the new game again. I don't even know how many guns are in Warzone right now. I know there's too many though. And only for people to use the same few guns, because if you don't use the meta, you're fucked. They had one saving grace that lasted for a hot minute. Verdansk was back. Was it great to be back dropping into Verdansk? Absolutely. Did it hit the same back when we were all unemployed during the lockdown? Of course not. Nothing ever will. That nostalgia wasn't even strong enough to bring me back. If you're playing Warzone every day still with the boys and having a good time, I love that for you. I truly do. But I think the time has come for Call of Duty and Warzone to become separate entities. It doesn't work anymore, and honestly, it hasn't for a while. I'm going to make a video on this in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for that. Cheaters have been having their way with Black Ops 6, and it's pushed a large portion of the loyal fan base out. Ricochet doesn't work. It doesn't ban cheaters quick enough. If it doesn't work in real time, then there's no point. Cheaters were literally just crashing entire games of Warzone this year after they died. The system does not work, and I think Activision is too stubborn to realize this, or they straight up just don't care. I hope it's not the latter, but this needs to be taken care of. Most other quality PvP games have a working anti-cheat. I'll never understand how a billion-dollar company like Activision won't invest even a little bit to try and actually get their cheating down. Me personally, I don't play Warzone where a lot of the cheating is currently happening, and I'm only Diamond 2 in ranked multiplayer, so I rarely run into cheaters. But at the end of the day, you just don't know who's actually cheating or not. I'm really hoping they can make some big leaps in this department next year. If they don't, Call of Duty may actually start to die. One last thing to touch on before we start wrapping this up. Call of Duty needs better events. We started off pretty hot this year with the Squid Game event. We had a special battle pass with free and paid versions. I'm 50-50 on how I feel about this. We had a fun new game mode in red light, green light, and some cool operator skins. Let's fast forward to the most recent event in Season 4, Rivals. We have a Vote Adler and Vote Stitch emblems, a double weapon XP token, and a Shatterblast ammo mod for zombies, a loading screen, 2 weapon stickers, 2 calling cards, a double XP token, a weapon charm, the Strider 22 3-round burst ammo mod, the Grim Reaper score streak, and 2 Jackal variants. How do we unlock them? By earning XP in-game. Sick. I don't even mind the rewards. They're fine. The new score streaks are usually fun, and the weapon mods are fun as well. But this can't be the main event of an event. There has to be something bigger involved. This event is called Rivals. We could have brought 1v1 gunfight tourneys to push the rival theme. The Ballerina event could have had a John Wick themed map. The TMNT event tried to do this, but it was just a grind reskin at the end of the day, nothing really TMNT themed from the source material. Nothing ever ties back into the theme of the event other than the calling cards and things nobody cares about. Events are a great thing to have, but they need to be well thought out. The events in Black Ops 6 are uninspired and underwhelming. I wanted more than anything for Black Ops 6 to be one of the greatest CODs ever made. I have always put full trust in Treyarch, and this year, they lost a lot of that trust. Do I think Black Ops 6 is a fun game? Yes. Despite everything that's wrong with it, I think the base game is a fun Call of Duty with good gunplay and good movement. But that doesn't make up for awful maps, the constant pressure to buy bundles, the lack of communication from the devs, poor Warzone integration, cheater-plagued lobbies, and the lack of creativity for events. Where do you guys think Black Ops 6 went wrong? I'm curious to know. Let me know down in the comments. Maybe you think Black Ops 6 is amazing, and they didn't do anything wrong. Either way, I want to know. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. We'll chat then.